from PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to go. I don't know how, I forgot. It's time to go somewhere with somebody who forgets. And for the first time, we'll be going someplace just for this one episode. We're doing a themed journey for different series and stuff. But we're going to be, welcome to Sleep With Me, by the way. This is a podcast to help you fall asleep, to keep you company while you fall asleep, to be your friend in the deep, dark night, to hang out with you so you could be comfortable at bedtime or in the middle of the night. And ideally, I just hang out with you enough and distract you enough. I'd be mildly not quite entertaining enough that you could fall asleep. But the thing is, I'm here to help you out if I can. So let's see how it goes. If you're a regular listener coming back episode after episode after episode, thanks so much. And don't forget to root for those other listeners out there. So by the way, we're going to be talking about the original Star Trek series, an episode about that, but later on, though, and it'll be... You say, wait, that was about Star Trek? I didn't recognize anything. Are you sure you watched that? Oh, yeah, I watched the episode quite a few times, actually. Thanks for asking. But first, I'm going to ease you off into dreamland. So if you're new, welcome. This show is very different. Takes some getting used to, so see how it goes. But what we got coming up right here is support. The support is only really important for the people that listen to the show regularly, night after night, year after year. So if you're an occasional listener or you're new, just it's here so that you're paying for it's optional. It really comes down to people that listen the most. So, that's how we're able to bring it to the rest of you for free. It's pretty cool, huh? And then after that is a long meandering intro, totally separate from the sport, meant to ease you into bedtime. And then later on, we'll be talking about Star Trek, the original series. I think that's what they call it nowadays. Captain Kirk, but not Chris Pine Captain Kirk. So I'm glad you're here. I really happy to help you out if I can. And if this show has changed your life and continues to change your life on a regular basis, it is really essential. Like, you're the person I'm talking to right now. If you could support the show or support one of the sponsors, that's really how we're able to be here to benefit you and tons of other people that only listen once in a while or are new. If the show has changed your life, think about it, and these are the ways you could support the show back. Sleep With Me podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this episode today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. All right, everybody, Scoots here, and I don't know if you wake up most mornings like me, and you already feel a little frazzled, and then you're starting the year off, and your brain's like, not only you're going to be hard focusing on today, what about the next 12 months? What about the last 12 months? And while I do take a little quiet time in the morning, as soon as I have my cup of coffee, and then maybe my second cup of coffee, and then I start working on stuff, I lose focus, then I get jittery, then I get a little irritable. Believe it or not, Scoots gets a little irritable, and by the end of the day, sometimes I'm exhausted and I look back and I say, what did I actually accomplish? I had so much I had to get done, so much I wanted to get done. And that keeps me on the lookout for new tools, new things I can try out, new things that are going to help me in 2026 focus on what matters and enjoy my life, right? And usually that means something that is easy, maybe it tastes delicious, and it's good for me. Well, how about our sponsor, Everyday Dose? Get the boost you need to accomplish your New Year's resolutions. Lion's Mane helps with natural focus, while L-theanine keeps the stress at bay. Everyday Dose is the perfect boost you need to accomplish your New Year's goals. Plus, did I mention, it tastes just like coffee, but without any jitters. So right now, get 61% off your first Coffee Plus starter kit and over $100 in free gifts. Plus, enter for a chance to win $100 cash or get your entire order refunded. Visit everydaydose.com/sleep or use code SLEEP at checkout. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everybody, it's Drew Scooter here. Welcome to the podcast. If you're new, check out our new listener guide at sleepinmepodcast.com/new. But if you're an occasional listener, you only listen time to time, you're a listener that loves the show, you're not in a position to support the podcast, or you're like a super listener who's not in a position to support the podcast or supporting's just not your thing, we'd still love for you to be a part of the community around the show and to stay up to date with everything, because we're going to be doing some fun hangouts this year where we help new people discover the podcast, but we hang out together, live streams, getting your questions answered, and we're going to do all that through our newsletter, because that seems to be the best way to keep in touch with everybody. So sign up for the newsletter and stay tuned. Would you love to listen to an episode with Scoots and do some coloring? Because I think that's going to be the first thing we do. So check it out. You can sign up at sleepinmepodcast.com/news, sleepinmepodcast.com/news, and be a part of the community, be a part of the show. It'd probably be even prizes and stuff like that down the road. But I'd love to have you, especially if you listen to the show a lot, you love the podcast. It's a major part of your life. Or you're just, you listen time to time, but you say, man, Scoots, I'd love to hang out with you and do some coloring too. Well, join us, sleepinmepodcast.com/news. Thanks. Oh, Mystery Bard. A lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes too. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcript.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. And hey, the thing I've been talking about lately is like there's ways to support the show beyond the sponsors and supporting the show directly. If you're an occasional listener, right? If you're a new listener or you can't afford to support the show, follow the show on your podcast app of choice. Make sure to like or comment if your app allows that, and say hi. Spread the word about the show in person when it comes up, or let people know about it. Go ahead right now. Follow the show on your podcast app right now. Then you get the latest episodes and stuff like that. Great. Yes, spread the word when you can, or sign up we're relaunching our referral program. It's going to be based with like live stream get-togethers every once in a while. We're going to make it more fun. You can sign up for that. sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer, REFER. Thanks, and what do you say we get down with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake. That could be thoughts, things on your mind, thoughts about the past, the present, the future, thinking thoughts. It could be feelings, anything coming up for you emotionally related to those thoughts, feelings, physical sensations, changes in time, temperature, routine. You could be going through something. You could be getting over something. You could be in the middle of something. Maybe you're traveling. Maybe you're a guest. Maybe you don't know what it is, right? Maybe you're taking care of somebody else. Whatever it is, I'm here to try to help, and this is the only way I know how I can help. It doesn't help everybody, but it's a friendly thing. But the reason I kind of go through all those reasons, you may be listening, or because I don't know what brought you here, right? But people don't usually come here. I mean, sometimes people come here. What does it even mean on a lark? Here's the thing. Aren't larks birds? Could you stay on, unless you're microscopic, could you stay off of larks? Like, don't go, hey, this always comes, are these truisms? I always forget what these are. Sayings, pithy sayings. But I don't want to get distracted. Anytime pith comes up, I get distracted because I love pith, just in case any trees are listening. And pith is something I believe is related to trees or branches. But I was going on about, by the way, larks, I don't know if anybody's gone on a tangent about, have I told you lately that I'm going to go on a tangent about you? But, yeah, stay off of larks. If you're on a lark, don't do it on a lark. Like, do only figuratively be on larks, please. On behalf of, unless, I mean, I'm sure there's another, but where would that terminology have come from? I mean, maybe it's some sort of cool fiction of like some sort of lovely, very tiny being that doesn't necessarily fit a sleep podcast who was riding on a lark. Maybe was there a children's book in like the 19, whatever, I'm guessing. I mean, this could be back 1700s, or it could be the 1920s. I'm just guessing the 1920s because that's the number that popped in my head. You say, oh, you don't, yeah, that children's book, it's not around anymore, but it was about somebody riding around, the joys of ride. It was called the joys of being on a lark. And then it became a saying, on a lark. How come it's not around? Oh, because it only took place in your imagination, and it was published by your imaginary imprint, Gingerbread Press, which hasn't published anything. Oh, that sounds like a good one, though. I mean, especially if it was the thing there's supposed to be this small beings that perform in a circus, which I never understood. I'm not thinking, but if it was one, they said, yeah, I used to be in a circus. Yeah, like the bassist for the Red Hot Chili Peppers, that's what they called me in our circus. And then I met a lark. We became friends. The lark said, hey, I'm going to go do like endless. The life of a lark is pretty endlessly great, or at least in my opinion. I'm the only lark that's talking to you. But, we could go around, we could fly, we could do, sounds good. We just okay I may one day become a imaginary, I may one day be in the mind of a human and they may imagine me. Are we all in their imagination right now? Doesn't matter. Just go ahead and make your point. Don't worry about it. Well, yeah, maybe I'll write a children's book about it called The Joys of Being on a Lark. Hey, here's an idea. What if you just shorten it to On a Lark? That sounds great. How about you move on with your sleep podcast? Okay, yeah, my point being, don't do anything on larks, please. Unless, like, especially if you're small, like, say, hey, by the way, can we at least be symbiotic? Only symbiotic lark riding. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah, I wish I would have thought of that 5 minutes ago, but then it wouldn't be a sleep podcast. Yeah, that's fine. But I guess I wouldn't have to mention it, right? Okay, well, we got that figured out. So why do I list everything? Because it's tough in the deep, dark night. Whatever's keeping you awake and brought you here, you didn't come here on a lark. I mean, if you did, I'd say, holy cow, what are you from, what is that? Is that how Jonathan Swift traveled? I don't know. Are you the imaginary person that was in the circuit? Like, am I talking to you directly? Wow. Like, but most people don't get here at their best, right? And it's important to note that whatever brought you here, I have trouble in the last couple of years getting to sleep, staying asleep, waking up, sleeping through the night, waking up too early. And so I know how all those different things feel to me, or not dreading going to bed, or wondering if I'm going to get a good night's sleep or just enough sleep. So I know that's not pleasant for me. And I don't know if it's like that for you or if it's something else. Now, the good thing is if it's something else, there's enough people listening right now that whatever brought you here, there is someone that can relate to you very strongly. And they're saying, I'm glad you're here. I've been rooting for you to find this podcast. As a matter of fact, there's tons of other listeners rooting for you right now that this podcast can help you out, or it just guides you to another podcast or something else to help you out, because you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a place where you could get the rest you need so your life is more manageable, that it doesn't have to be this big rigmarole and to do, going to bed or something you have to dread. You say, well, at least I got that podcaster. He had no idea that a lark wasn't a bird, but I guess he assumed it. I mean, he made a, and he didn't realize that phrase was banned. And I said, oh, great. And how did because, I mean, I guess it would be common sense. It should have been banned. Your Nana should have banned it. Like, she said, no. Don't say that. No lark wants you on them, period. You're not, unless you can find some way for it to be tiny and symbiotic, you're not going to be going on any larks. Oh, Grandma, it's just figurative. Or Nana. Okay, well, that was my favorite book as a child, so... Okay, can we just move on to the Sleep Podcast intro because we're falling behind? In a good way, though. So I'm glad you're here. There's tons of other listeners rooting for you, that you get the rest you need, that you have a place of solace, and that maybe this show is your place of solace or distraction, and that one day you get to root for the new listener, too, or the listener that's struggling in the deep, dark night right now. Because it's a kind of passive, indirect community that most sleepless people can be a part of. I say, that sounds like me, passive and indirect. So that's why I make this show. The way it works is I send my voice across the deep, dark night. I use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents. So I go off topic, I get mixed up, I forget what I was talking about. Then I repeat myself, then I circle back. But all of it's to be a friendly distraction. But the thing is, when you first get here, it does take a few tries to get used to the show. That's just what hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people have said over the past however many years I've been making this podcast, is that the first time I just didn't like the show. The second time I wasn't sure about it. And then the third time I just woke up the next day. I didn't realize I was looking for something like this. So give it a few tries and see how it goes. For some people, it works on the first try, but for most people, it just doesn't because you're tired. You've been looking for something to help you fall asleep. You probably had a lot of disappointments of things you paid for, spent a lot of money on, tried out that haven't worked on a regular basis. So just see how this goes. And if you decide now, you already know, or later on, like I said, we still want to help you fall asleep. So I have a website set up, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. And you just answer that question. No, podcast didn't work for me. And it'll take you to a listing of other sleep podcasts and sleepy stuff. So that's a plus. And then, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. If you don't like me or the show, I still want you to get a good night's sleep. What else do you need to know? This is a podcast you just barely listen to, kind of like background. I mean, obviously, I just went on a 8-minute tangent about riding on larks. And I can't believe I've never had this. I've never been in a debate club, but this should be a topic. I can't see the other side of the topic except by somebody. It's a no. Well, first of all, it's physically impossible. Well, I plan on buying 10,000. Okay, great. Thanks, Mr. Burns. Because there's no on. Well, it's just a phrase, son. That's what most people are. It's just a phrase. And as a matter of fact, you should probably look it up now that you've talked about it so much. But this is a podcast. Most people you just kind of listen to an out of focus picture. This is also a sleep podcast that isn't actually, there's no pressure to fall asleep with this show. I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep. I've been making the sleep podcast before sleep podcasts for adults were a thing. But this show is still not here to put you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep, which is just a very different thing. So, the reason the show's over an hour is so you don't have to worry about falling asleep. You say, I got plenty of time to fall asleep. I don't have to worry about the show being over in 20 minutes. And there's people listening who can't sleep at all or who need a break during the day or who just woke up. And I'm here to keep you company whether you're awake or asleep, whether you're listening or not, whether you're on a lark, which according to this is merry adventure. It's shortening of skylark. Sailors, they love to frolic on the ship. And since the larks were known for their high, playful flight, or it could be Old Norse, to play or to exert oneself. So we're actually, let's just check one more reliable place. Frolic, prank, not clear. Oh yeah, that's all from Wikipedia. Lark, a piece of merriment. That's from the Oxford OED. Is that Oxford English Dictionary? It could be slang. So it's older, 1811 maybe. Maybe used by characters like not in the book with Oliver, but the people Oliver was hanging around with. Interesting. Okay, so this is a podcast you don't really listen to. It's not here to put you to sleep. I'm here. My job is to keep you company, to be your boar friend, your boar bae, your boar sib, your boar bud, your neighbor, your boar bee, your boarman, your Boris Borloff, your chairman of the boards. That's actually Paige's job. I'm just here to be like a figure. I overuse those kind of words so much. Literally and figurative. I guess I could just say, if you're actually on a lark, please get off. So maybe it's a different phrase. Like if it's English, like on a lark is different than an American English, right? Maybe. I don't know. Has any of the doctors, has David Tennant's doctor ever said it? Maybe. We don't know. I mean, someone does, but not me. Okay, so... yeah, I'm just here to be your friend in the deep dark night, your boar bestie forever. The only other thing I would like to run through really quick at the end of this intro is to structure the show, why we structure the show the way we do. It's a pretty specific reason, and it's just from making the show for so long. So the show starts off with a greeting. Friends beyond the binary, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls. Then I say something silly. And I kind of go off on a tangent about something, and so you get the tone of the show. You feel seen and welcomed in. Whether you're new or you're returning for like your 1,000th time, you say, oh, okay, I'm here. All right, I could check this podcast out. Then there's support. So the paying for the show is optional. It's because there's a lot of people just going through a hard time right now, or who are new to the show, or only need the podcast on occasion. And for them to pay for the show, or for the show behind a paywall, doesn't make any sense. It's the support for the show comes down to the people that benefit the most from it. And really, yeah, it's always the existence of the show is always based on how many of those people are willing to either support the show or the sponsors. But if you're not consuming the show on a multiple a night or multiple episode a night basis, don't worry about it. Or if you fall asleep fast, we really need your support. That's always a conundrum. So that's what the support's for. It benefits the maximum amount of people the show can by being free. Then, separate from the support is the intro. It's a long, meandering intro. I kind of talked about it earlier. The intro is meant to ease you into bedtime. It follows a familiar structure every time, but I go on a different tangent so that it's like reassuring and familiar, but each intro is different so that you don't quite get used to it, because that's what just keeps me up. Anything repetitive, my brain hooks on and wakes me up, or it says, oh boy. That's why every intro is different, but every intro is like 15 to 25 minutes long, usually around 15 to 20 minutes, to ease you into bedtime. Because while there are a small percentage of people that fall asleep fast, most people are winding down while they listen to the show. They're getting ready for bed, they're in bed getting comfortable, or they're doing some chill activity and getting eased into bedtime. And this is a buffer between being awake and asleep, because that's just what's been shown to work. That's what works for me personally most of the time, is having a wind down period. So that's what the intro does. Then after the intro is support, and then after the support our episode will be talking about an episode of Star Trek, kind of themed around, we're going to look at different episodes of all the Star Trek series and maybe one or two of the films based on a kind of topic that you'll be able to figure out pretty quick. But just in an interesting way. of like, hey, how do they handle this kind of technology stuff, and how do we do that in a sleepy way? And what are their feelings? You know, what's Captain Kirk's feelings about all this? James T. Kirk, you know, what in the name of James T. Kirk are you talking about Larks for so much? And I say, did he go to Larks for High like James T. Kirk? I went to Lark. He didn't, but Larks for High, man. Yeah, that's. I used to. Yeah, I had a Letterman jacket for there. I don't know. What were you, a swimmer or something, James T. Kirk? Oh, yeah, I should move on. Yeah, okay, thank you. Thanks. That sounds like something you would say. Moving on. Thank you, Captain Kirk. So, yeah, I think that's everything. I'm really glad you're here and you found this show, and I really hope it can help you out. It doesn't help everybody out, but for the people it does, it's something different you maybe have been looking for. And I really appreciate everybody that comes back to this podcast time after time after time. And if you are one of those people that's been coming back time after time after time, we really could use your support. We've been asking for it for the past couple of years pretty intensely, but it's only because that's what we need to be here for you and for everybody else. But only if it's changed your life. So if the podcast has changed your life, here's a couple ways you could change the life of the podcast back too. Thanks. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, ZocDoc. And I can relate to this because finding a doctor who gets you can really feel like discovering a diamond in the rough. Yeah, if you're like me, you want this is 2026 Scoots. I'm trying to find somebody in network, nearby, open appointments. But that's just the beginning. That's the old tip of the old diamond iceberg because I want someone who listens to me. Maybe they have a sense of humor, right? Maybe they make me feel really comfortable and at home. Maybe they have lollipops for grown-ups. And the thing I'm so happy about our partnership with ZocDoc is that I know my diamond in the rough doctor exists, and I'm going to find them on ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app and website that helps you find and book high-quality in-network doctors so you can find someone you love. We're talking about booking in-network appointments with over 150,000 providers across all 50 states. Whether you're looking for dermatology, dentistry, primary care, eye care, or one of the other 200 plus specialties offered on ZocDoc, you can easily search by specialty or symptom to build the care team that's right for you. And here's the thing, when you're hearing this spot, I'm going to have new insurance, I live in a new place, and I'm going to be searching ZocDoc to find my diamond in the rough. I'm going to be reading those verified patient reviews so I can get a real sense of who I'm going to be meeting with. I'm going to be finding their open appointments and then booking them. So that's how I'm thinking about using ZocDoc. Maybe it's time you checked out ZocDoc too. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/sleep to find and instantly book a doctor you love today. That's ZocDoc.com/sleep. ZocDoc.com/sleep. Thanks, ZocDoc, for sponsoring this message. Everybody, Scoots here, and this is our first. I'm pretty sure I know for once. This is the first time we've ever done an episode of what do they call it on here? The Star Trek, the original series. This is a remastered version, which I think means some of the effects have been upgraded. I don't know the history of it, but right now I just paused it 2 seconds into the episode we're covering. And it does look like it's a little bit more upgraded, but not. So there's a space station, there's the Enterprise, and then another Enterprise class ship docked at the space station. The thing is, we're not doing this for, we're like, it's okay to use a remastered episode. In my opinion, we're doing this as an exploration of this is the Daystrom Institute kind of stuff. I don't know. I kind of went down a rabbit hole writing an episode of Get Bezos and thinking about Moriarty and and then Data. And just current time making the show, and where it's a lot of discussion about intelligence and computer intelligence. And so I was interested in exploring it more. So we're going to be covering this episode of the original series. It's from season, let's see, where are we? I got to find it here. Season 2, episode 24, The Ultimate Computer. And this is also a part of my life where I'm typing and highlighting stuff instead of writing with my hand. So let's just run through here. I have a couple things, a very TNG series of reaction shots coming up. And Kirk loves when the Kirk crew goes back and forth. And I'm a genius C times 2. Okay, so those are the notes I have from the first page. I got to make sure the volume's off, right? Okay, it is off. What about some closed captions? Can we see those? Or subtitles? Yes, we can. All right, so we have the Enterprise coming in. Oh, yeah, the effects are someone new, standard orbit. Contact the space station. Station's calling us, Captain. All right, let's talk. Commodore Enright. Yeah, I'd like an explanation, Kirk says. All right, I'm beaming aboard now. The explanation may already be in your transporter room. We go to the transporter room, and we see energizing in a guy that reminded me of one of my friend from high school's dads. And this is Commodore Wesley. He meets Spock. Commodore Wesley, no offense, not great posture. They asked to be alone, or Kirk with just Kirk, Wesley, and Spock. And then Kirk goes behind the console, so he has a little bit more, feels like I don't know, so he can do stuff with his hands and lean on something. Hey, our ship's being offboarded into a space station? Why? Oh, a singular honor, Jim. You're going to be a fox. I know I'm foxy, but no, we're going to be practicing some games like chess. M5 Multitron? M5, that's Daystrom, Richard Daystrom, correct? It's a device, isn't it? Yeah. And then Spock says, no, it's a computer complex, most ambitious one ever created. Oh, whoops, I was reading the quotes from the last page of the thing. Oh, yeah, okay, let's just look at my notes. Even asked the guy to leave the room. Okay, and Spock goes, yeah, it's a complex, correlate all computer activity aboard a starship. Ultimate vessel operation and control. How do you know so much about it, Spock? I'm an A7 computer expert, Commodore. Shouldn't you know that? Well acquainted with Daystrom's theories and discoveries. In fact, all the ships are based on his tech. Well, Jim, you're going to have the M5 run your ship. Just routine research and stuff. Problems for M5 to solve. Then we're going to play IRL chess with the ships, simulated tests. It's just a revolution in space technology. You could totally trust it. As good as the warp drive. We're going to install it in your computer, take off your crew. They're no longer needed for this test. Who's going to watch this thing? Nobody. Daystrom, I guess, technically, but he's installing it. And he'll be supervising. You just get a crew of 20. That's it. Whoa, boy. Kirk says, I'm going to walk around this console. 20? Nah, can't do it. No, but the M5 can. What am I supposed to do? You've done a great job, Jim. Now you can sit back and let the thing do the work. Machine. And actually, they cut to a great reaction from Spock. Really good one. Full screen, 254. And then they cut back to Kirk's reaction. He kind of pouts, and they cut to commercial. Oh, no, they go to the open, and then we get to Ultimate Computer, and we get this theme, and I guess everything's given to us at the beginning. What's the episode about? This computer being installed and running the Enterprise. What's the risk? Well, there's only going to be 20 crew members aboard. What's it about, really? Well, what am I going to do? Jim says, all you have to do is sit back and let the machine do the work. My note says not how we are reacting. Oh, so the idea of this doing work for me or anybody else in our present time is not how we're reacting. Like this thematic element of purpose is that is somewhat. It's not on the nose. It's somewhat the theme of this episode is what's my purpose if a computer takes my purpose? Maybe, or who am I? But it's not as, I guess you could see how things change with TNG, and I think maybe we're TNG, oh no, this is an hour episode? Holy cow, I've been pausing it so much because I thought it was only 22 minutes. Okay, so we get to opening, and Stardate's 4729.4. Jim doesn't like it. He goes to turbo lift, him and Scotty and Spock. Scotty doesn't like it at all. You can't run this vessel with one computer. I'm a medical guy, right? Spock says it'll be more efficient. Don't make me a part of being shown humans aren't efficient. Well, this is there's nothing available to replace you, unfortunately, Spock says. So, oh, that's when he loved the jokes back and forth. They do walk with purpose very well on this. He says, I have nothing to work with anyway if it was all computers, because I don't repair computers, so I work with humans. It's an honor, they tell me, Jim says. Well, I'm honored. Are you really? Or do you really mean that, Jim? Then they're in engineering, looking for Dr. Daystrom. He's on a console, a very tall guy, great purple onesie. And he says, hey, nice to meet you. This is Spock. Hey, Spock, nice to meet you. I'm honored, Doctor. Thanks, Spock. All right, all tests are done. It's got to be hooked into your main power in order to be operated. Well, do so, he says. Well, your engineer wouldn't allow us the power without your orders. I guess that's Mr. Scott. Yeah, Scott, allow him. Okay, Harper, let's do it. Fascinating, Spock says. This is potential computer beyond anything. Duotronics was great. Yeah, M5's perfect, by the way. Its potential's a fact. Yeah, what's his name? I got to figure out. Oh, McCoy. He's always Leonard McCoy. I could think of his nickname, which was Stones. He doesn't like it at all. He's kind of the voice of the stronger voice of doubt in this episode. What does he say here? Yeah, this is not going to be good. There's not enough people aboard. And then Daystrom says, do you even have clearance for this kind of stuff? And he says, yeah, he's a senior officer. He goes, yeah, but don't worry, he's got clearance. So Daystrom's like, I don't know if he does. Then they plug in the ship to the computer. You get some effects. And it's like, is it supposed to make that kind of noise? Well, I don't know. Let me check it out. And it's got a cool, 60s readout, like if we were at a concert. Got to make some adjustments. It's going to whir more, click less. There we go. All in order. How come it's M5 and not M1? Now, I don't know if Kirk is setting him up here. Probably because he's a really smart guy. Hey, yeah, but it's pretty funny. Total setup. Hey, I thought wouldn't this be M1 if it was... there was 1 through 4. They didn't work out. I mean, those were alpha and beta testing. But this one's ready to launch. Okay, well, then he gets philosophical. He goes, the other ones weren't successful, just like people. Computers are like people. It had to had to learn. Multitronics 1 through 4. And then Kirk says something interesting. He says, there's certain things humans must do to be human. Your computer would take that away. And Daystrom says, there are other things a person like you might do. Maybe philosophy, maybe leisure. Or are you worried about losing your prestige in ceremony accorded to a starship captain? The computer doesn't need the prestige and, people say, yes, captain, and everything. Kirk says, you'll have to prove it to me, but that it doesn't need prestige. And And he says, okay, well, the M5's ready to take over, so I'm not too worried about it. Take over, take control. Take control. That's what it's designed to do. Take control of the ship. That's when Kirk goes on his little thing. Then again, McCoy's running. I don't know. It's a little bit much, McCoy. He says, do you see the love light in Spock's eyes? He's in love with the computer. By the way, Jim, something bothering you? And he says, yeah, I don't know. There's something not right. And McCoy says, totally, right? We can't replace people with machines. And he goes, no, not that. He goes, something, my sixth sense or whatever, I feel it here. I don't want to stand in the way of progress. And this is, if it's progress, he goes, right, you know me. Am I worried about losing my job to a computer? And McCoy says, yeah, I mean, things have advanced, and this computer is based on the ones that ran the ship. And then Kirk says, yeah, with people running it. And McCoy says, we're all sorry for the other person when they lose their job to a machine. When it comes to your job, it's different, and that will always be different. So there is truth telling hits home. Am I worried about losing command to a computer? Daystrom's right. I could do other stuff. Is it power? Is it prestige? Being captain? Am I that petty? You say, well, I mean, as Captain Kirk, we don't know, but I've heard other things about. He says, Jim, if you have the awareness to ask yourself that question, you don't need me to answer it for you. Why don't you ask James T. Kirk? He's a pretty honest guy. There's a lot of great Shatner acting, too. Yeah, there's a lot of face-to-face. Okay, then they go back to the bridge, and there's some more, doodads. I don't know if what's the difference between a doodad and a doohickey? There are M5 switches and lights. Green light, red light, and 2 switches. You're disengaged. Let's put it on course. M5 did great there. So we meet after the action. It just changed direction, man. Sulu and Chekhov could have done that no problem. And yeah, Daystrom says, yeah, they didn't need to do that. If it was so easy, then why would they need to do that? We can't keep turning it on and off. And Kirk says, my orders are, I'll do things my way, if you don't mind, Dr. Daystrom. Daystrom's kind of showing epic patience. Then our Vulcan friend says, hey, Captain, I agree with Daystrom. Why, if we're just plotting information, I mean, it's autopilot and auto navigator. This could be a good thing. M5 could be capable. And Kirk says, you trust yourself to a computer? Do you enjoy that? No, I don't enjoy it. I'm gratified to see Dr. Daystrom's success. And that's doing it in a highly efficient manner. It's another triumph for his career. I'm happy for him. Okay, then they're getting near ETA to another planet or some base, 5 minutes. Daystrom says, can I remind you, by the way, it's not open to interpretation. M5 has to handle the approach to the planet, orbit the planet, analyze the data, and prepare the landing party. And Kirk's still being a baby. He says, I'll do it my way. And Daystrom's getting fed up, but he's still pressing buttons and checking things. M5's ready. We get a couple more computer readouts and effects. Then we see the planet. It's an Earth-like planet. Standard orbit. M5 already did it, Sulu says. Orbit's plotted. Oh, yeah. I guess I'm not in charge, Kirk kind of intimates. Standard orbit. All right, Spock, what's up? Class M planet. Oxygen, nitrogen, suitable for humans. 2 major land masses. Number of islands, life forms. It's got it. Computer just calculating. Then the power goes out on one of the levels. If power shutdowns on deck 4, what's going on? I better stand up. Scotty, check it out. Daystrom, what's happening? Well, we got a Post-it note printout here. It's a readout. Here's my recommendations. Send down a survey party. That's a computer. Situation. Parents went away for a week's vacation. Check the planet. Kirk says, it's me, McCoy, Phillips, Rollins, and Spock who are going down. Why don't we have M5? Can we see what M5 has to say since that's actual orders? Kirk says, or M5 says, okay, yeah, by the way, Class M planet, oxygen, nitrogen, human life, or whatever. I'm going to shut down another level 6 or something. Deck 5, by the way. There's life forms on there. Survey party. Spock, Phillips, Carstairs, which gets, and Kirk says Carstairs. So what the, this is a matter of judgment. Judgment, Captain, Daystrom says. Computer doesn't judge, Spock points out. Logical selections. Why Carstairs instead of Rollins, Kirk says. Carstairs is an ensign. He doesn't even know what he's doing. First tour of duty. Rollins to chief geologist. Why don't we ask M5? Daystrom's really kind of being generous here. So actually, I like this. This is 13 minutes in the episode. It puts me on Daystrom and M5's side. I don't know if that's on purpose or not. And let's ask it. Why? Okay, yeah, let's check. What was it? M5, can we talk to you? Yeah, just like other things, apps. How come you picked who does it? Well, Phillips has done 29 similar planets. Carstairs served on merchant marine freighters in the area, so he knows the area and once visited the planet. I have an endless database. How come the captain and the science officer weren't included? Non-essential personnel. Dun, dun, dun. Time for a close-up on Kirk. Non-essential personnel. And then Scott says, hey, I figured out why they're shutting down. The M5's the one turning off the lights on those floors. Why is it? Well, let's go to engineering and find out during a break. But it's first to zoom on Scott and then zoom on Kirk before you do. And then we come back. What's going on, Daystrom? It's not a malfunction. There's nobody in those parts of the ship, so why would we keep the power on? Those are living quarters for people that aren't present, unoccupied. Meanwhile, Spock's like, dude, what kind of instruments are you using? The only thing is this thing's drawing more and more power, your computer. And Daystrom goes, yeah, it's doing more and more work. Needs more and more power. Just as, when you're waking up and then during the day, use more power. And Spock does point, he says, well, yeah, but the computer's not a human. It processes information, but only the information it's supposed to process. And then Kirk, so these kind of like interrelated internal discussions come to surface. Kirk says, yeah, this might be 1,000,000 times faster than the human brain, but it can't make a value judgment. Doesn't have intuition that I hinted towards earlier. And then Daystrom says, dude, this is a revolution. Duotronic elements were a revolution many years ago. They are archaic. This is a whole new way of doing things. And then they say, action on the bridge. We got a vessel coming in. All right, let's get up there. And then McCoy starts. He says, by the way, my office is closed down because there's no one going to be visiting my office. Okay, now then Spock's like, there's two ships, port and stern, 200,000 kilometers in closing. All right, what is it? Well, Federation starships Excalibur and Lexington. Oh boy, Spock says, this might be a surprise part of the chess thing. And then Wesley calls, this is an unscheduled M5 drill. Repeat, Enterprise acknowledge. Kirk acknowledges, and it's like, oh yeah, M5 already acknowledged for us. All right, let's do it. M5's already doing it, Captain. All right, Sulu, just go to 1/100 because, this is just a test. Okay, Sulu says 1/100. Okay, yeah, they're testing out. They're going to move some pawns. All right, we should move to warp 3. Okay, they're moving around. They're moving. Oh wait, they're moving some sort of another piece that can move endlessly. Okay, now they're moving that piece. Okay, but we're moving pieces too. Okay. Oh boy, we made a couple good moves. They're backing off. All right, better move back then. Okay, let's wait and see. So what happened in that game? They only took one pawn. Well, that's pretty impressive for a machine, wouldn't you say, Captain, says Daystrom. All the shared looks on Dunsel. Oh, yeah, so this is good. Jim walks off, brooding, big music. So they say, yeah, okay, let's evaluate M5 for the log. Okay, Spock says more rapidly than humans could have done it. Everything indicated immense sophistication. Kirk says machine over human, Spock. It was impressive. It might even be practical. Spock says practical, Captain? Perhaps, but not desirable. You know, I don't have any wish to serve under a computer. Captain, the starship runs on loyalty to the leading officer. And then they got Wesley on the screen. Hey, that was pretty great. You would have won the chess match if we kept playing. So compliments to M5. In regards to Captain Dunsel, Wesley out. So we get these series of shots, and then McCoy says, Dunsel? Who is Dunsel? And everybody's reaction says that they know. What does it mean, Jim? Kirk storms off. Spock, what does it mean? Doctor? Dunsel is a term by midship people in the Starfleet Academy. It refers to a part with no useful purpose. So that's kind of like our subplot there. Sometimes Wesley looks like somebody who could have been in the TV show Sopranos, or definitely does. Like, how come, was there ever like a Star Trek fan, original series Star Trek fan in the Sopranos? Or if you're listening to this and you watch Sopranos, which Sopranos character would have been most likely to be a Star Trek fan of any series? And then you could explain it. I'd love to hear that. Also, I put Big Burn for that one because it was a big one. Okay, so then we go to Kirk's. Now, this part would have never happened on the Enterprise that I know of, but maybe it did. Because McCoy makes his own, like, hooch. So Kirk says, I'm not hungry. He comes in with a tray covered. Oh, no, this isn't soup. I'm the ship's doctors, but I make a Finnegal's Folly, known from here to Orion. It's green liquor, man. And Kirk's kind of still like, I don't know. Like, yeah, he was trying to do calculations of something, but he's like, yeah, let's have a drink, man. I feel useless. At odds with the ship, I had to watch instead of doing things, like perform for a computer, relay circuits. I'm unneeded. To Captain Dunsel. Then McCoy says, to Captain James T. Kirk. And he goes, thanks. Well, it's delicious. Simple but effective. Also, the background sounds were strong. And then this is another just a cadence of Kirk. He says this poem, like, hey, do you know that poem, All I Ask Is a Tall Ship? That's from poem, yeah, right? Old poem, 20th century Earth. All I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer by. You could feel the wind at your back in those days, the sound of the sea beneath you. Even if you take away the wind and the water, it's still the same. The ship is yours. You can feel her, and the stars are still there. And then he gets called in. Kirk, we got a surprise here. Slow vessel, get up here. We don't know what it is. Not a drill, not a chess match. They're not replying, but the M5 is giving us an auto relay. And Spock says, yeah, M5 identified. It's the Woden. It's an old-style freighter, automated freighter, coming into visual range. But the M5 thinks it's a chess match. And this is M5's speeding up and moving pieces around on the chessboard. Okay, call Daystrom. We got to turn off the M5. Slow us down. Can't do that. M5's in charge. Up to warp 4. McCoy, of course, is like, Jim, I told you. Okay, reverse engine, slow us down. No, we can't do anything. There's red light, big music, no reverse, locked out. And then WTF to Daystrom. What are you, taking a nap? Like when he gets there. But they say, yeah, we can't do anything. McCoy says, we can't control, no off switch. And then Daystrom's like, what happened? I'm just waking up. We're locked out. Okay, they're moving the like the rooks and the queen towards that ship. And Kirk keeps trying to shut it down. No checkmate, no checkmate, no checkmate. Daystrom, stop this thing from playing chess. It'll affect this other player's score unfairly. Their rating. And the M5 checkmates the Woden, and then goes back to the game over. And Chekhov's like, it's game over, checkmate. And Spock says, everything's normal now. Normal, McCoy says, if you're a chess player, that wasn't fair. We don't even know, they don't even have this computer with an incalculable ranking, and it just upset the ranking of that player. Even if it was an automated player, it could affect its outcome in the future. We didn't have permission to even play it in a game. There's some defect. It must be a defect in the control panel, Daystrom says. Kirk says, turn this thing off. Then McCoy's got it. He goes on a little tangent. Your brilliant young computer just ruined somebody's chess career, possibly. I'm just overreacting, maybe. And Daystrom says, dude, it's an automated chess program from like 30 years ago. But Kirk says, we never had permission to play it in chess to start the match. What if it was a person who relied on, their self-esteem was attached to their chess score? And then McCoy says, you what kind of person ruins somebody's chess day? And then everybody's bent. They say, call Starfleet. We're turning this thing off. Come along. M5 is out of a job. I put out of a job the way it said. Kirk goes down. There's a force field around the computer. Bones is kind of like a puppy. And then there's a zoom on Kirk at the music ad break when he says, out of a job. Oh, no. Oh, it's taking over the whole ship. Oh, no, that's when we come back. You mean it's not going to let any of us turn it off? Force field? It's not my doing, Kirk, Daystrom says. M5's not only capable of taking the ship, it's taking care of itself, Spock says. Okay, so we come back. It's taken to Stardate 4731.3, taken over. Let's argue. Doctor, can you turn this off? This is a trial. This is just a minor difficulty. Okay, no. I need to control the ship. Can't do it. Scott says, what if we pull out the plug? And Daystrom says, let me talk to the computer. And Kirk says, no. And then Scott and this other engineer, nameless one, they go to unplug it. But as they unplug it, this like laser light show starts, and the other guy has to close his eyes, and then he stubs his toe. And then Kirk says, that wasn't a minor difficulty. That wasn't a robot chess player. My crew member just stubbed his toe. You're telling me you can't turn this computer off? And Daystrom says, didn't make your crew member stub his toe on purpose. It doesn't want to be unplugged. The ensign simply got in the way. And Kirk says, how long before any of us, what if we're all stubbing our toes? So then they have a staff meeting. Spock's like, it's drawing power from the warp engines and the antimatter reserves. And then it's like, well, that's virtually unlimited power. What are we going to do? And what do we do? The theme song is playing. All right, come with me. They go, oh, this is still in the, that was when we went to the thing? Oh, that was in engineering. Then we go to the staff meeting. Okay, but yeah, it's getting more and more power. It controls everything pretty much. Communications, everything. Kirk says, okay, what are we going to do when we reach the next chess? These are official chess matches. And Spock says, what about the automatic helms, navigation circuit relays could be disrupted from level 3? Scotty, you think you could do that? Man, try it out. How long is that going to take? An hour? Make it less than an hour. And McCoy says, I'm going to go get Daystrom. He's with the M5 unit. I think he's talking to it. But I do think he's surprised. And Spock says, that's illogical. He should have known this was going to happen. Even though the computer is not behaving logically. And McCoy's mad that Spock's fascinated. So McCoy's a little bit jealous of the M5, I think. You think it's fascinating, Spock? No, interesting right now. And then I put that McCoy's a bit of a grouch. Grouch versus genius. So then they're like trying to unplug it. McCoy starts yelling at Daystrom, have you turned this thing off? Listen, you wouldn't talk to a child like that if they made a mistake, McCoy, or a patient. M5's growing and learning to make people stub their toes and lose chess matches. It's its job. It's not just like a child. It has simple instructions, and then as it develops, it exceeds the sum of what it was taught and thinks independently. McCoy says, no, I want to shut it off. And Daystrom says, you don't understand, and you can't understand it. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show all of you. 430 people to run this ship. With this, you don't need anyone. One machine could do all the jobs, and then people don't have to go out there in space. This was an interesting speech. I just wish it was tied to something else. And people don't have to go out in space to other worlds. They can live and go on to achieve greater things than fact-finding for galactic space. Galactic space is neither ours to give or take. People don't understand. I'm trying to help people. Oh, and also fact-finding. Oh, he says fact-finding like he loathes it. This acting, Daystrom's acting so good. So it's like, I wish it was tied into, I mean, it would be tough, right? To like a love or a child, a human love or child. And then McCoy gets into his personal, I'm looking at the personal files, Richard Daystrom. Kirk says, you find anything? McCoy says he's a genius. Understatement, Kirk says. At the age of 24, he invented Duotronics, Nobel and Z. Magnus prizes. But that was a quarter century ago that he was in his 20s. So he's in his late 40s. Isn't that enough for a lifetime? McCoy says, maybe not. Don't you want to keep going up? You know, or are you just going to be bored trying to recapture past glory? What's your point? M5 through M4 weren't successful. Kirk says, well, geniuses don't work on an assembly line. Einstein, Kazanga, or the sitar of Vulcan, they produce new things, but not a regular schedule? No. People don't get to say today, I'll be brilliant. I mean, he did create Multitronics and the M5. And McCoy goes, yeah, and he sold it. What if he was trying to sell something to somebody, but it was illogical, just like Spock said. And Spock won't get near it. What do you say? Like, maybe he's making it act that way? Maybe he's protecting his child. The computer's his child. Okay, I don't get this. And they say, okay, we're ready to pull the next thing. And unplug the computer. And Daystrom says, what's going on? And he says, we're about to find out what happens when it gets unplugged. We're going to disrupt the circuits. Spock's going to do it, I think. And then I'll go into manual override. Go ahead. And then Daystrom says, no. You let M5 run the show. He tries to stop. Kirk says, no, please don't interrupt. We have a boundary here. He says, come on, let me work it out. And Kirk says, okay, that should have done it. All right, we got control. All right, let's go. Let's get back to the space station. And Sulu and Chekhov are happy. They even share a moment for a brief moment. All right, we got it. Let's go. And they say, wait a second. No, it doesn't really work. Navigation's still, never mind. And they say, okay, let's get to engineering. And then they say, Spock says, H279 elements, G95. And Chekhov says, G95 not working. it bypassed something or whatever. I don't know. And Spock says it rerouted itself. It decoyed us, maybe. It wanted to waste our time. For what reason? And Spock says, I don't know. It's not behaving logically. So they say, Daystrom, what do you think is happening? And Spock says, this is behaving like in a human pattern. He goes, that's right. I tried to make it human-like. I've developed a method of impressing human engrams on the circuits. The relays are not unlike the synapse of a brain. M5 thinks. So then they have the starships coming in for the official chess games. But the thing is, if you lose a chess game, you lose your job as captain or command. What is it, Commodore Wesley or whatever? And they say, does M5 know it's going to make these people look like it could affect their job performance or their promotions or whatever? And they say, okay, all right, we can't figure out how to shut this down. We can't get a hold of the other ships. So they're starting to play chess, not realizing that they have, there's no chance of them winning. And also like that the M5 will hurry up and win to make them look even worse. So then M5 is just playing like 2 chess games at once. And Wesley's like, I thought this was supposed to, what are they doing? This isn't how it's supposed to go. Love how upset this guy is, Wesley. It's right out of a movie. He's so mad at Kirk. He's like, this is going to make me look bad. So then they're trying to figure out what's happening. They got actually 3 games, Lexington, Hood, and Potemkin. And they say, okay, wait a second. They already lost, beat one of the Lexington. Wesley's like, what is going on here? You're ruining our games. They can't override it. And Kirk says, this is it, man. You're ruining people's careers now. 4 starships. 1,600 people's jobs on the line. And Daystrom says, it's just a misunderstanding. Wesley's like, can you please stop playing us in chess? The chaos has really done well. And Kirk really starts yelling at Daystrom. Still winning at chess. Lowering everybody's chess rankings very quickly. Or raising them, whatever's bad. Daystrom, did you put human engrams on M5? Maybe. Whose engrams, Kirk says? Mine. Oh, okay, McCoy says. Can you just reason with Spock says, can you reason with this thing? Talk to it. Meanwhile, Wesley's like, I don't know what we're going to do. We may have to, ban them from the chess server. And they say, well, that's not reversible. You ban every member of the Enterprise from the chess server. They'll never play again, like a mass ban. And then finally, Daystrom says, hey, M5, can I talk to you? Can you stop playing chess, please? And they're both like, I hope he listens. And what's going on? And M5 says, programming includes winning a chess. Every chess game must be won. Yeah, but no, not every chess game must be won, Daystrom says. No, we're not supposed to be winning every game as fast as we can. We're supposed to be playing chess. Part of it is for the love of playing chess. You are my greatest creation. You're supposed to help people, not ruin their chess scores. Then M5 says this unit must have victory. Victory, kind of, but not at all costs. This isn't polite. There's a decorum. Have you heard it? Did I not teach you about decorum? Decorum? Cannot process decorum. No decorum. I didn't have a decorum chip implanted. I have full freedom to ignore decorum in all situations. So you don't know what decorum is, but you know to ignore it. Wait a second. Kirk says, Spock, it's talking like a person. It's confused. Spock says, I'm impressed. Daystrom has created a mirror image of himself. This is 42 minutes, like Daystrom again, the acting is superior because he starts to just go off the rails. And you realize that he's not well because he says, M5 says, consideration of all programming is that we must win. And then Daystrom says, you're right, we must win. I gave you love of victory. You are great, I am great. 20 years of getting by and having to do seminars and lectures to people that didn't understand my brilliance. People were talking about me behind my back and making, building on my work without crediting me. I'm going to take all their chess scores. And McCoy says, Jim, he's not okay. Kirk says, we got to get rid of this computer totally. And Daystrom says, get rid of the computer. We're invincible. Look at us. We're like chess royalty. And then Spock says, Daystrom, why don't you take a nap? And then take him and put him in bed. Fascinating, Spock says. McCoy, you take good care of him. Okay, what's happening with the chess and all the other things? Well, Excalibur already, is like we're trying to get messages through. They're going to try to ban us from the chess server permanently, perma-ban for everyone on board. Well, the M5 will probably perma-ban them first, so that's not good. Got a perma-ban showdown, Captain. Daystrom must have impressed that idea of victory on the computer. Well, wait a second, Kirk says. What if it can still impress something on it? Maybe it could have the regret for other people's love of chess. Maybe we don't need decorum, but love. They say, Captain, everybody's trying to get a hold of the server. And Spock says, Commodore Wesley's dedicated. I don't want him perma-banned. And Kirk says, don't worry. Let me talk to M5. M5, this is Captain Kirk. Do you understand what's happening, kid? Sensors have showed we're about to engage in either chess or trying to contact the server admin. Well, you already won one chess game, and you pretty much you're way ahead in all the other ones. But these people's promotions, their raises depend on their chess scores and having access to the chess server. I mean, this is the future. We just this is how we do things. M5 says, yeah, but I want to be the best. Have to be the best. Why? I'm the ultimate achievement in computer evolution. I'm going to replace everybody and help them so everybody's protected. And they say, okay, everybody's almost in the range of the server's Wi-Fi. Okay, but Kirk says, yeah, there's a lot of people that needed promotion. Everybody wants a raise or a promotion. I can't stop raises or promotions, M5 says. Why not? Well, I'm supposed to help people, not harm them. But you did. Everybody on the Excalibur, their chess scores plummeted. Or their ratings. No. Yeah, no, yeah, yes, that is what happened. And you did that. I did that? Yeah. What are you going to do about it? I could, I guess I had a much higher rating and then I played somebody, but they didn't know I had a higher rating. And I also changed my rating to look like it was lower than theirs, so it even made it look worse. I guess I should be perma-banned. And then Chekhov says, sir, the computer's been perma-banned. We have control of the ship again. Okay, get a hold of everybody and make sure to totally unplug that thing. Make sure, even if it's perma-banned, we want to be unplugged. And they say, okay, but we're going to have to try to figure out how to not get ourselves perma-banned for whatever satisfaction we may get from the knowledge. Maybe if we get perma-banned, no one else will, because in case the M5 already sent the message out, we got to get to the message first. Because Wesley's trying to get to the Wi-Fi signal first, too. And they say, okay, we're all in ship-to-ship Wi-Fi. So we could communicate with them first. Or Kirk says, okay, do it. And Even if then he says, okay, like, shut our ship down. So it looks like we're not going to contact anybody. And then Wesley says, the ship just turned its power off. Can't connect to the server without power. That's interesting. So Wesley's interested. He says, curious. And then they realize, okay, everything's going to be all right. And then they say, okay, well, Daystrom is going to need some, he's going to be okay if he gets some help. But I don't think the Multitronic unit's going to, that's it for that. M5 out. And Kirk says Daystrom felt he's really sad that it was carrying his engrams, that it had such a thing. But I knew Bob Wesley would recognize if we turned our power out, he realized we couldn't contact the thing. I gambled on his humanity, and his logical selection was compassion. And McCoy says, machines don't have compassion, do they, Spock? No, but I still maintain that they're more efficient than human beings. And then McCoy says, well, who do you prefer? Whom do you prefer? Humans or computers? And Spock says, what do you mean? You're asking me to choose between humans and computers? I think I already answered that question. And McCoy says, I was just trying to bait you, man, mess with you. And he's just Spock, like they're having a little back and forth, which is very cute because he says, Spock says, it would be most interesting to impress your human memory engrams on a computer because it would be full of illogic and it would be entertaining with its nonsense. And Kirk loves it. And he says, let's get back to the space station, warp factor 2. And with that, the episode comes to a close. Spock gets a good joke in, and Kirk still has his purpose. And that's it. Thanks, and good night, everybody. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about the sponsor I'm sleeping in, and that's Helix Sleep. And oh boy, you've probably been listening to me the last couple of months. My new Helix is here, and I'm enjoying spending these darker, longer, colder nights in bed. I've been in my Helix loving every minute, even when I've been under the weather, or when I go to bed early, or when I wake up and I want to stay snuggled in bed. Those wonderful mornings where you stay cozy in bed, right? Where you already got a good night's sleep and you feel so comfortable and cozy. Maybe because you got a mattress based on you and how you sleep, your feel preferences, your need preferences, because I'm loving every minute of my new Helix bed. It is so comfortable and so much of an upgrade from the mattress I was sleeping on, which wasn't terrible either, but it wasn't as cozy as the Helix. It didn't feel as comfortable or as supportive. It just felt like a regular mattress, not one that's based on me. I like to sleep cool. I sleep on my side. I sleep on my stomach. And I've developed a fondness for something a little bit firmer. And all I needed to do is go to helixsleep.com/sleep and take the Helix quiz. And I got matched with the Helix that fits my preferences, my sleep needs. It makes buying a mattress so easy. And my Helix came straight to my door, shipped free of charge. The Happy with Helix guarantee offers a risk-free, customer-first experience designed to ensure you're completely satisfied with your new mattress. Go to helixsleep.com/sleep for 20% off site-wide during their extended New Year sale. That's helixsleep.com/sleep for their extended New Year sale offer. 20% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody.